We're in the final stretch of 2025, and if you haven't been keeping up with this season's anime, you're missing out on some absolute bangers. We're talking about shows that aired this year with episodes that kept the community buzzing every single week, and honestly, a few of these are already being called future classics. Trust me, at least 3 of these are going to end up on your favorites list. So before we dive in, hit that subscribe button. It really does help us keep bringing you the best anime content out there. At number 10, we have Unnamed Memory, which wrapped up its incredible second season earlier this year. And if you missed it, you need to catch up now. The series picks up with Oscar, the Crown Prince of Pharsas, and Tanasha, the Witch of the Azure Moon, as they navigate both political intrigue and their deepening bond. Oscar freed Tanasha from her tower prison in Season 1, and Season 2 dealt with the Fallout Kingdoms that want her power curses that won't stay buried, and a relationship neither of them quite knows how to handle. What makes this season special is how it balances epic fantasy battles with genuinely tender moments between 2 people who've both been alone for too long. Tanasha has lived for centuries, and Oscar carries the weight of an entire kingdom, but together they're figuring out what it means to trust someone completely. NG handled the animation, and while it's not flashy, it's elegant, especially during the quieter scenes where the characters just exist together. The soundtrack has this melancholic beauty that makes every emotional beat land perfectly. Season 2 aired from January to March 2025. At number 9, we have Tower of God Season 2, which finished its run at the end of 2024. But if you haven't binged it yet, 2025 is your year to catch up. The story continues following Bam, now going by Viole, as he climbs the mysterious tower while being controlled by the shadowy organization. Season 2 introduces a whole new cast of characters, including the charming and unpredictable Ja Wangnan, who becomes a second protagonist of sorts. The power scaling gets more complex. The politics between the tower's factions heat up, and Bam's relationships with his old friends become painfully complicated as everyone pursues their own goals. What makes this season work is how it expands the world without losing focus on the emotional core. Every floor of the tower presents new challenges that test not just strength, but loyalty, morality, and identity. The animation workshop stepped up the production with fight scenes that do justice to the webtoon's epic scope. The soundtrack blends orchestral themes with electronic beats, giving each arc its own distinct feel. The season aired from July to December 2024, with all 26 episodes available to binge right now. At number 8, we have Dungeon Meshi, also known as Delicious in Dungeon, which became one of 2025's biggest surprise hits. The premise sounds straightforward. A party of adventurers explores a dungeon to rescue their companion, who was eaten by a dragon. But here's the twist: they're broke and have no food, so they decide to cook and eat the monsters they encounter along the way. What starts as a goofy cooking show quickly evolves into something much deeper, exploring themes of lost survival and what it means to truly understand the ecosystem you're disrupting. The main character, Laios, is a monster enthusiast who approaches dungeon crawling like a nature documentary, and watching him geek out over monster biology while his team reluctantly tastes everything from walking mushrooms to giant scorpions is both hilarious and oddly educational. Studio Trigger handled the animation with their signature expressive style, making every meal look genuinely appetizing. Despite being made from creatures that tried to kill them moments before, the show has this perfect balance of comedy, action, and genuine heart that makes it stand out in a sea of fantasy anime. At number 7, we have Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Infinity Castle. And if you're not watching this, what are you even doing? This isn't a TV series, but a movie trilogy, with the first film hitting theaters in July 2025 in Japan and September 2025 internationally. This is the moment the entire series has been building toward Tanjiro, and the remaining Hashira descending into Muzan's Infinity Castle for the final battle. The animation is, as expected from Ufotable, absolutely breathtaking. Every frame is cinematic, with lighting effects and fluid choreography that make even manga readers see these fights in a completely new way. But beyond the visual spectacle, this film is emotionally devastating. Characters we've followed since Season 1 face their final moments. Demons reveal tragic backstories that reframe their entire existence, and the cost of victory becomes painfully clear. The voice acting is phenomenal across the board, with performances that carry the weight of everything these characters have endured. The pacing is relentless. The film feels like a non-stop emotional roller coaster, and the soundtrack by Yuki Kajura and Go Shina elevates every scene from great to unforgettable. This isn't just the climax of Demon Slayer, it's one of the biggest anime events of the decade. At number 6, we have Solo Leveling, which exploded onto the scene in early 2024 and continued dominating conversations well into 2025. The story follows Sung Jinwoo, the weakest hunter in a world where gates to dangerous dungeons have opened, and humanity has gained supernatural powers. After a catastrophic dungeon raid leaves him nearly dead, he wakes up with a mysterious system that allows him to level up like a video game character. From that point, it's a power fantasy done right, as Jinwoo grinds his way from weakest to strongest, completing quests fighting increasingly dangerous enemies, and slowly uncovering the truth behind the gates and his new abilities. What sets solo leveling apart from other power fantasy anime is the sheer visual spectacle. A+ handled the animation, and they went all out. Every fight is meticulously choreographed with Jinwoo's shadow army, creating these massive chaotic battles that feel both strategic and brutally satisfying. The art style stays faithful to the manhwa's gorgeous panels, and the soundtrack pulses with electronic beats that make every power-up moment feel earned. The series perfectly captures that dopamine hit of watching a character overcome impossible odds through genuine effort and strategy. At number 5, we have the Apothecary Diaries, which has been quietly building one of the most dedicated fan bases in anime. The series follows Momao, a brilliant apothecary and poison expert who gets kidnapped and sold into service at the Imperial Palace. What could be a tragic setup becomes a compelling mystery series as Momao uses her medical knowledge and sharp wit to solve various poisonings, conspiracies, and medical mysteries plaguing the palace. While everyone else sees supernatural curses, Mao Mao sees symptoms and deduces causes with the precision of a forensic scientist. Her relationship with Jinchi, a beautiful high-ranking official who recognizes her talents, provides both romantic tension and comedic relief as he continuously drags her into investigations. She'd rather avoid OLM and Toho Animation, created something visually stunning here with detailed palace interiors, lush costumes, and character animation that captures every subtle expression and eye roll from Mao Mao's perpetually unimpressed face. The show is smart funny and genuinely engaging with mysteries that are actually solvable if you pay attention to the clues. It's historical fiction meets medical drama meets slow burn romance, and it works beautifully. At number 4, we have Oshi no Ko Season 2, which premiered in 2024 but carried its momentum strong into 2025 with discussions, analysis, and cultural impact. The series continues following Aqua and Ruby, former doctor and patient reincarnated as the twin children of their favorite idol, Ai Hoshino, after witnessing her murder. Season 2 dives deeper into the dark underbelly of the entertainment industry, exploring toxic fan culture exploitation and the psychological toll of fame. Aqua's quest for revenge becomes more complex as he infiltrates the acting world while Ruby pursues her own idol career, seemingly unaware of the dangers surrounding their mother's death. What makes Oshi no Ko special is how it balances genuine criticism of the entertainment industry with compelling character drama and moments of surprising warmth. Doga Kobo continues to deliver stellar animation, particularly during the performances and high-tension dramatic scenes. At number 3, we have Vinland Saga, Season 2, which technically aired in 2023 but became required watching throughout 2024 and into 2025 as one of the most talked about character studies in anime. After Season 1's brutal Viking warfare, Season 2 takes a completely different approach, following Thorfinn, now enslaved on a farm as he grapples with guilt trauma, and the question of whether revenge and violence actually solve anything. The season is deliberately slow, meditative, and focused on agricultural labor, philosophical discussions, and Thorfinn's painful journey towards something resembling peace. What could be boring in less skilled hands becomes absolutely gripping as we watch a broken man slowly remember what it means to be human. MAPPA crafted something visually and emotionally beautiful here with animation that treats quiet moments of farming with the same care as the occasional brutal fight. The show asks difficult questions about violence, redemption, and what it means to truly change. After spending so much time in Thorfinn's violent world, watching him try to build something instead of destroy is genuinely moving. At number 2, we have Frieren Beyond Journey's End, Season 1, which concluded in early 2024 but became the most awarded and celebrated anime of 2024 to 2025. The story follows Frieren, an elf mage processing the loss of her human companions, decades after their hero's journey ended. Season 1 introduced us to Frieren traveling with her new party, Fern and Stark, taking on jobs facing demons and slowly coming to terms with what it means to have loved people who were always going to leave. The brilliance of Frieren is in its pacing. It's not rushed. It lets moments breathe. It lets characters sit in silence and just exist together. Some episodes are quiet and contemplative. Others have intense magical battles, but everything feels purposeful. Madhouse crafted something visually stunning, landscapes that feel lived in magic, that feels ancient, and powerful character animation that captures tiny emotional shifts most shows would miss. The soundtrack by Evan Call is gorgeous, blending melancholy strings with moments of hope that never feel manipulative. This is a show about what comes after the adventure, about the weight of time and the value of the moments we share with others. It won Anime of the Year at multiple awards, At number 1, we have Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation, Season 2, which aired throughout 2023 to 2024, and remains the gold standard of isekai that everyone in 2025 needs to experience. The story follows Rudeus Greyrat as he navigates the complex world of magic politics and personal growth after being reincarnated from his previous life as a shut-in. Season 2 takes us through some of Rudeus's most challenging arcs, both physical and emotional battles that test everything he's learned. What sets Mushoku Tensei apart from other isekai is its commitment to genuine character development. Rudeus isn't just getting stronger, he's confronting his past, trauma building, meaningful relationships, and dealing with the consequences of his choices in ways most isekai protagonists never have. To Studio Bind delivers some of the most gorgeous animation in the industry, with fight choreography that's both brutal and beautiful, and world building that makes every location feel alive. The magic system remains one of the most creative and well thought out in anime, and the voice acting brings real depth to characters who could easily have been one-dimensional. And that's our list of the 10 anime from 2025 that you absolutely need to watch before 2026. From emotional journeys to epic battles, this year's lineup proves anime is more than just fights. It's heart story and substance. Looking back at this list, what really stands out is how diverse anime has become. We've got everything from dark fantasy and psychological character studies to wholesome slice of life and pure action spectacle. That's what makes this medium so special. There's literally something for every mood and every type of viewer.